Today, we're talking to Joe Sherren. Joe Sherren is a potato farmer, a sales director, a leadership expert, and the author of I Lead. He has spent 25 years helping people reach their full leadership potential. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Sherren.
Have you ever heard the expression, people are either born to be a manager or they're not? That's cow patty. Everybody is born to be a great leader. Everybody is. But what happens to many of us is we get it conditioned out of us. We get it conditioned out of us by our parents, by our school system, by our bosses. We are all born to be great leaders. What we need to do is go back to that natural instinct we have about leading people and coaching people and managing people, and we have to develop the skills. You see, again, another false belief that's out there in the world today is that if you're a good sales rep, you'll make a good sales manager. If you're a good engineer, you'll make a good engineering manager. And we know that now that is absolutely not true. It is not the way it works. Like, let's say you could be born to be a great piano player. But if I never showed you the scales and showed you the notes and showed you how to play a piano, you're never going to make it to Carnegie Hall, even though you're born with these talents. So, and companies wouldn't even hire an employee to clean their windows, or they wouldn't hire an employee to drive a truck without proper training. Why do we think we can take people and put them into the most important job they will ever have in their whole lifetime is managing other people? And that is the most important job you'll ever have, because you just don't have a truck you're accountable for or clean windows you're accountable for. You have a human being you are accountable for. And we put them into these positions without 1 minute of people management skills development. And I think that's one of the biggest need we have today in Canada. I learned that 70% of all dysfunctional employee behaviors is because of the manager. It's not the employee. You see, when I was a new manager screwing up, I thought I had a bunch of turkey reps, or turkey employees. But what I learned in all the courses and development I did is it wasn't their problem, it was me. And when I changed and applied the skills of good coaching and good management and good leadership, guess what? By magic, they all changed. At IBM, I had some very successful years, so they put me in teaching other sales reps and customer service reps how to be successful. And then I went into management. And my first couple of years of management, I was the worst manager in the whole world, and everybody hated me. And I think, well, my mother likes me, and I'm a nice guy. Why do all these employees hate me? And so I was determined to figure out what are the skills of being a good manager and a good coach. And not only did IBM was really good because they sent me on lots of programs, but I paid for programs by myself, and I went on my own programs, and I learned everything there was to learn about management. Then they gave me another branch, and guess what? I was the top manager of the year for all of Canada that year. And then they gave me another branch and another group of people, and I got Management Excellence Award again. So then they said, you should go in now and teach other managers. So of my 25 years there, I probably spent at almost 15 of them teaching. I was a senior manager at IBM for many years, but I started there in sales. And I was born and raised on a potato farm, and I come to Toronto, and I'm working with all these highly educated movers and shakers, and I'm very, not just humble, but I'm just very intimidated by everything that's going on around. And so IBM sent me off to what was called a Dale Carnegie program. And this was back in the 1960s when it was almost Dale Carnegie himself. And I remember walking into the program the first morning, and we're all sitting around a table, and the facilitator walks in, and he walks in carrying a box of straws and a bag of potatoes. Well, he's got my interest already because I was born and raised on a potato farm. And he doesn't say anything. He doesn't introduce himself. He just says, excuse me, folks, can I have your attention? And then he pulls a potato out of the bag and a straw out of the box, and he shoves the straw right through the potato. And he says, let me do that again. And he picks up the potato, picks up the straw, puts it through. He says, now, I would like each of you to do the same thing. So he hands around the potatoes, he hands around the straws, and he says, now each of you do it. So we get a potato and a straw, and we crunch, crunch, crunch. And these are paper straws, not the plastic ones like today. And we can't do it. And so he says, stop, stop, stop. He says, here's the deal. He says, you all took a potato out of the same bag I did. You all took a straw out of the same box I did. You all have relatively same strength in your hands as I do. You all have the same intelligence as I do. He says, but I can do that, and you can't. And he says, do you know what the only difference is? I believe I can, and you believe you can't. And we're always going to be right. So he says, what this week is all about is changing how you believe about yourself. And so we went through just a fantastic program. And at the end, we had to make some commitments on what we were going to do, verbal commitments. So I stood up, and everybody was making their verbal commitments. I stood up and I made my commitment. And then I paused. And I said, but I have one more. Can I have one more? And he said, oh, yeah. I says to the facilitator, I'm going to be doing what you're doing someday, helping other people become successful.